When Patrick Morardi first stepped into his science classroom in the late 70s, he didn't strike anyone as remarkable. Tall, lanky, and always slightly disheveled, he wore mismatched socks and carried a passion for astronomy that bordered on obsession. His thick glasses slid down his nose every few minutes, and he had a habit of humming while scribbling diagrams across the chalkboard. At first glance, he was just another quirky teacher in a long line of quirky teachers. But there was something about the way he spoke about the stars, about time and space, and the fragile place humans hold in the universe that made his students listen, even if they rolled their eyes while doing it. One day, during a lesson on solar eclipses, Mr. Morardi handed out worksheets that charted upcoming celestial events. As the students flipped through pages cluttered with dates and diagrams, he stopped them. "Circle this date," he said, tapping his finger on April 8th. "This one is ours. I want you all to come back that day. We'll meet again and watch the eclipse together." The classroom filled with laughter. They were teenagers, more concerned about lunch plans than something happening decades into the future. The idea of remembering anything from high school that long seemed absurd. But Mr. Morardi wasn't joking. In the next year, and every year after, he made the same promise to each new group of students. "When the eclipse happens, we meet again." Over time, the story of Morardi's promise became a running joke, a legend passed between seniors like a rite of passage. Everyone assumed he would forget, or that he never really meant it in the first place. But they were wrong. After retiring from teaching, Patrick Morardi didn't forget. As the date crept closer, he began preparing, not with loud announcements or grand gestures, but quietly and purposefully. With newspapers fading from daily life, he turned to the internet, creating a Facebook group with the simple title, Morardi's Eclipse Reunion. At first, it sat mostly quiet. Then, slowly, old students began finding it. They shared memories, tagged long-lost friends, posted grainy photos of high school science fairs, and blurry shots of classroom chalkboards. The group grew faster than he expected. For some, the group was nostalgic fun. For others, it was a deep emotional tug, a reminder of a simpler time and of a teacher who genuinely cared. When the long-awaited day arrived, the sky was disappointingly overcast. Gray clouds hung low, threatening to obscure the celestial moment they'd all come to see. But none of it mattered. Patrick Morardi stood ready near a local field, a rented pizzeria truck humming in the background, folding chairs set up across the grass, and over 100 pairs of eclipse glasses laid neatly on a table. And then, one by one, they came. Nearly 100 former students, now adults with graying hair, stories of their own, and children tagging along, gathered around the same man who once drew planetary orbits on a classroom board. They called him Mr. Morardi, just like they used to. They laughed, they cried, they hugged. Some brought old yearbooks for him to sign again. Others just stood quietly nearby, overwhelmed that someone could remember them after so many years. Though the skies never fully cleared, and the eclipse was mostly hidden behind clouds, nobody left disappointed. The real miracle wasn't in the sky, but right there on the ground, in the reunion itself. This was more than just a teacher's quirky idea. It was a promise kept, a reminder that even in a fast-moving world where people drift apart and time seems to vanish, some bonds remain strong. As the afternoon drew to a close, Mr. Morardi stood up once more. His voice was softer now, but the smile was the same. "Mark your calendars," he said, pausing for effect. "August 22nd. That's when the next total eclipse happens. I'll be there. Will you?" This time, no one laughed. No one thought it was a joke. Heads nodded, eyes sparkled, and a few people clapped quietly. Because after all these years, they knew better. They knew that when Mr. Morardi made a promise, he meant it. And maybe, just maybe, they'd be there again, gathered beneath the same sky, remembering the strange, wonderful teacher who taught them to look up.